I switched my camera here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, my friend. How
All
are
right.
you, Tim?
I'm doing good. How are you, bro?
It's really hot here in Chile today.
It's hot. Oh, it's chilly here. Well, not, no jokes intended.
That's nice. That's nice.
That was the accent, I promise.
Hey, I think I'm going to be like switching languages
Okay.
because we are Gripsport Latino. So I'm going to put some Spanish in between.
Okay.
So, bienvenidos amigos de Gripsport Latino. Estamos haciendo la segunda entrevista con nuestro gran invitado Tim Butler, leyenda de Gripsport de Estados Unidos. Welcome, friends. Here we are in Gripsport Latino, doing our second interview with our honorable host, Tim Butler. How are you today, Tim?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm pretty good. I actually just finished a little grip session with some guys, so that was pretty fun. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I didn't do my workout today yet, but then I'm going to do my gripper session, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Something like really relaxed, because tomorrow we have a bigger session.
The more intense one. Yeah, you have to conserve the energy.
Exactly. Yeah, because it was a busy weekend and a busy week. But anyway, we're doing really good.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to start with a kind of an intro. We want to know, firstly, which is your country, your age, your height, your weight class.
All right. I'm from the USA. I am 29 years old. I'm getting up there a bit. I'm about 192 centimeters. I'm going to try and do centimeters and kilos for you guys. And my weight, it ranges when I'm bulking up or cutting fat. So like in the summer, it goes down to like 87 kilograms. And right now, I'm about 100 kilograms. So it varies depending on the season.
Okay. Really nice. And I always want to give like a little bit of context, so people who's not that into grip sport can tell how strong is Tim. So I wanted to ask you, where are your powerlifting numbers these days? I mean,
Oh,
squat, deadlift, and bench press.
um, well, I haven't been going too hard on the bench and squat. I've been doing more reps. Like recently, I did bench. I was doing sets of 3 with 280 pounds, and then what's that? I can't do the math right now. For kilos. But squat, sets of 5 with 345 pounds. My conversions are now all going out of the window right now for kilos. And deadlift is 635 pounds. That's 288 kilos. I remember that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So pretty strong numbers. Then,
I'm trying.
of course. And then, how long have you been training for strength sports?
Strength in general, it's been on and off for 19 years. I started like basic weights when I was 10 up until about like 18 or 19. Then I had a break where I just didn't do anything and I got unhealthy. But then for the last, I guess I got into grip maybe 6 or 7 years ago, but the last 3 years I finally have been consistently like strength training and exercising.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah.
So you have been into the game for a while, and actually that was my next question. How long have you been training for grip sport? You told me 6 years.
Yeah, I got my first grippers in December of 2015, so a little over 7 years ago, and then I branched off into all the other things that I find a lot more fun now in the fall of 2016.
So grippers were your first grip tool, right?
They were my first grip tool, my first grip love. They created the monster that is my addiction now.
And which grippers were there? Where are those? Which ones?
I had a captains of crushes. I got my first ones were a number 1, a number 1.5, and a number 2.
And did you close the number 2 like in the first try?
No, it took me about a month to close the number two. I closed the 1.5, but not the number two. They were very humbling because I was like, you first get them, you think, oh, I can close these, and then, they show you otherwise.
Yeah, that usually happens, especially because I consider you a big guy, like really tall. So it's like, oh, this tiny thing, I surely can close it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's no way you can't close it, but it's very humbling for sure.
Yes. Well, next question. When was your first grip sport competition?
My first grip sport competition was February 2017 at Jed Johnson's.
Nice. And which disciplines were in that competition?
Ooh, they had the two-hand pinch Euro, the adjustable Euro pinch. They had there's the pickaxe front lever. That's a weird one. The 5-inch bull ring, which is like a wide hub, a wide shallow hub. I think that's the only time it was contested. And I think another one was like a pinch, 2-inch pinch with 50-pound hold for time.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, I might be forgetting another one, but that's what I remember.
Okay. And now I want to ask some questions from followers.
Cool.
This one is from a follower from Colombia. His name is Alejandro. Saludos, Alejandro. He wanted to ask, which are your grip goals for 2023?
I think my biggest goals aren't really a specific feat as much as just to get more consistent and better with the disciplines that are common in competitions, because in the last couple of years I've done a lot more of just kind of having fun with different like the blobs and the inches and doing things like that. But I'd like to actually do better in competitions and have a better performance. But for feats, I guess clean and maybe curl the blobzilla, and I guess just really master my 190-pound inch dumbbell, because you can lift it once, but then to master it and like really dominate it, it takes a lot more work.
I don't know like the number. How heavy is the blobzilla?
The blobzilla is half of a 130 or 60 kilogram. So it weighs about, mine weighs I think 63.6 pounds. So it's like 29 kilos, 28 kilos, something like that. But it's pretty big. So it's, the first time I put my hand on it, I was like, how the heck am I ever going to lift this thing? But
it's really big.
Yeah.
We don't have those in South America yet.
Yeah,
Not
hopefully
yet.
soon.
Yeah. The second question from Alejandro, he asked you. I mean, I can say that I know this answer, but I want everyone to know it. Do you train with grippers or just pinch and thick bar?
Well, I haven't trained with grippers for a while recently because I hurt something in my wrists. But it's funny because my first ever grip goal was to cert to 3, and I still haven't done that yet. So it's still, eventually I would like to get back into more regular training with them and do that. But outside of that, I think I just have so much more fun with the other things. And when you do a lot of like inch dumbbells and thick bar, your crush strength takes a hit. So I'd rather focus on those things. For me, it's just more fun.
Okay, I understand. We're going to be go more in depth with grippers lately. Now,
Okay.
I have a question from a new gripster from Chile. His name is Fernando EMG. Saludos, Fernando.
Well,
He
Fernando,
wanted to ask you, how many times a week do you train? If it's over 3 times, how do you do it to recover so fast? I mean, I think he asked that because you upload Instagram videos like daily and like daily inch dumbbell, daily blobs. It's like, how does he do to recover so fast?
Well, it's I try to train 4 to 6 times a week, and I put like a lot of the feats that you see, they aren't actual like parts of my training. I'll do like a couple of those afterwards, so I get my actual like volume in before, and then I have like my little like mess around feats after that I'll do. But for the sessions themselves, I don't do that much volume, like maybe like 3 to 5 sets. So I feel like I'm not really exhausting myself too much as long as I don't have the thick bar days too close together, because that I feel I can't recover from as quickly. But things like pinch and blobs, I feel like I can do that almost every day or every other day, unless my skin tears, then I have to take off like 2 weeks sometimes, which isn't fun. But um, yeah, I guess I just try to split out the I have like the less intense workouts, but just like more volume throughout the week.
I
I don't know.
understand.
I'm still also learning. Like in the summer, my work capacity is way down, but now that I'm eating more, I'm able to do more workouts. Like towards the end of the summer, sometimes I could only do 2 to 3 workouts in the week because I just was depleted and my body wasn't recovering like it is now.
So it's like a pretty flexible workout plan, as I
Yeah,
can hear you.
I do a lot of my stuff by feel. Like any given day, something can like be hurting or aching or like, so I'll just work around it. If I have something planned and something just isn't feeling right, I'll do something slightly different that doesn't aggravate it, but still getting some work in.
That's really interesting because my next question was from another new gripster from Chile. His name is Salvador, and he wanted to know if you have a strict plan or if you go by the feel and improvise. That's
Yeah, well, it's
really
like I have like like I guess a skeletal structure of what I'm going to do, but like I said, like that could change any given day. But like or sometimes I'll get sidetracked on something if I'm getting close to the feet. But I try to have like a general structure, but I don't always stick to it, I guess.
okay. So, anyways, I imagine that these days you don't have a coach, right?
Not currently, no.
Okay, I understand. And uh, how do you treat like each grip movement? Like, how do you treat the pinch and how do you treat the thick bar? I mean, in a context that some people like to treat the squat certain way, like doing sets of 5, and for example, in the deadlift, they just do singles. Do you do any difference between disciplines?
Um, not really. I'm a really big fan of like no more than like 5 reps in a set. Like I really like triples, like, and then some like 7 to 10 second holds afterwards. But I think it's probably all around the same. With vertical lifts though, I do more singles with vertical lifts, heavy singles than reps. Like I'll go up in heavy singles, but then I'll go back down and do like some reps afterwards. But I'm more focused on getting working on those heavy singles.
Nice. Also, my friend Salvador, he's asking me about another grip-related sports. For example, have you ever done rock climbing?
I've been asked that question. I guess technically I have because I went to a birthday party in 8th grade and it was rock climbing, but not really. I'm interested in I'm interested in trying it, but for a while I was too heavy to do it, and now that I'm in better shape, it'd be something fun to try. But I don't have very good like mobility in my legs. My knees kind of messed up, so I'm a little hesitant. But I'm sure I can still have some fun with it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you will do well. I think so. I have seen you doing some one-arm pull-up, so you must be really strong in each arm.
I'm trying. I'm trying. That's the goal.
That's the goal for sure. And also, you must have got this question as well. Do you see yourself competing in arm wrestling?
Yeah, I've gotten that one. I don't really like. I like the sport. I think it's really cool. I'm very prone to injuries, especially like in this area, and I'm just kind of paranoid. And I have such a passion for the grip sport right now that that would also be spreading myself too thin. And it's not to say I'll never do it in the future. Maybe if I get less interested in this, I'll move on, but we'll see.
Really nice. I also wanted to ask you, have you seen on Instagram a gripster from Italy, Tiziano Vecchio? Do
Yes,
you
sir.
know him?
Yes, sir. I do. We
He
chat
was my first,
sometimes.
he was my first guest in this interview in Gripsport Latino. We always chat via WhatsApp, like almost every day. And actually, I told him how nice you guys were when I visited you in New York. I was like, "Oh, these guys are really nice. You should chat with Tim, with Alex. Hello, Alex. I have seen Alex join the live stream, and Chas and John, Steven, all of you." So Tiziano wants to know, how long did it took to you to dominate the inch dumbbell?
So it's a it depends on what you mean that by that, because like, is it the first time I lifted it, or is it when I was able to lift it easily, or I'm not sure. Is that my
I think
phone?
I think he means how long did it took to you to? I mean, you can lift it like on a daily basis if you want to, right?
Nowadays, except for this last week, I think I fried my CNS, but usually,
But yes, you can lift it like frequently. How long did it took to you to dominate it? Like yeah, I can do it like 3 times a week. I don't know.
yeah, that took me a while. Probably not until just this past year, so like 5.5 years.
Okay, okay, understand.
Yeah.
And how long did it took to you to this is more like a tricky question, but how long did it took to you to dominate the blob lift, because you are like pretty strong at blobs?
I'm pretty good at bobbing. The standard, like the next gen one, I guess the half hundred, that that one took maybe like 2 or 3 months. The Fat Man took me like 4 or 5 years, but that I think I haven't dominated Blobzilla, but I've dominated the Fat Man. I say that took about 5 years, maybe.
Okay, I understand. Another question from Tiziano. Well, you recently said that sometimes your CNS is really like fired. You can be really tired sometimes. So how do you manage your workout volume, like your recovery? What do you do when you're like fired and next week you want to lift some big weights and you're pretty tired? What do you do?
Um, I'll do like I guess I like could say like get the blood pumping kind of thing. So I'll just do like lighter stuff, just high reps. I'll do a lot of like actually like wrist curls with small dumbbells, reverse wrist curls that we require, along with like, let's say I do like 200 on a rolling thunder, I do like one reps with 140 or something like that. Um, I don't know. Like I feel like I definitely not. I haven't mastered any of that area at all. Like I'm still kind of learning about all that stuff. But I do a lot of active recovery, so I'll make sure every night I'm doing the rubber bands, and even like massaging out the areas. Yeah, that's just what I do. If I'm feeling just totally fried, I'll focus more on the active recovery, because sometimes I'll get lazy with it. I'm not gonna lie. But
That's good. It happens to all of us.
yeah,
But well, you always have to move on for the goals. Move on. Like some days it's just about showing up, training.
exactly. That's half the battle. Sometimes you don't feel like doing anything, but then once you're in there, even if it's a bad workout, at least you did something.
Just like that. I am going to like stop with my questions for a while. I want to watch if someone ask any question as well from the public. There's there's a lot of people watching. I can see Nathan Hall. Whoa.
Oh, the
Chat is
legend.
here as well. Yeah, another Gripster, I don't know if you know him. Rental Shoes.
Oh
He's
yeah, I
really
know
tall and
Memphis
really
is.
strong.
Yeah, he's freakishly strong.
Yeah, he looks like coming from rock climbing,
Yeah.
like many legends. Yves Gravel and Tanner. There's Alex.
One of those.
What's up, Alex? Good to see you. And now I can see Mustard Badger. Do you know him? I don't know him. Hello,
I,
Mustard.
I follow him.
He says, if I could ask, if you had to coach someone into lifting the inch, what would that process look like? Interesting.
Hmm. Um, I would have them work on getting their strength up on a rolling handle, something like maybe a 2 3/8 or 2.5 inch rolling handle, and also the wrist wrench. I feel like those two components are what creates an inch dumbbell lift. So because the wrist wrench it kind of mimics the tilt the torque of an inch dumbbell when it wants to spin out of your hand. So I feel like working on both. I would have them work on both of those, but then also. Uh, it doesn't. Some people are different, but for me personally, I find doing tilt lifts with the inch when you start with your hand all the way at the globe closer to you on this side of your hand. You have your hand up against it, and it tilts easier. And the more you progress, you get your hand closer to the other globe until you can lift it strict. And I guess those are the things I did the most. And then if you have magnet weights, you can do the it's called paradoxical deload, where you put the magnet weights on the side of your fingers, so there's less torque, even though it's heavier. It makes it easier to lift. But,
Really good.
yeah.
And this is a personal question related to the previous one. Do you think like lifting certain amount of weight on a rolling handle? In example, if you lift like 85 kilograms in a 2.5 rolling handle, that would mean like you can lift an actual inch dumbbell?
It depends because I've noticed some things like if the person has like a stronger fingers and not as strong a thumb, like they might be able to pull a lot more on a rolling handle, but they still can't fight that torque of the spin of the inch dumbbell. But then I've seen people who pull like a lot less on a rolling handle, but because they have the thumb and wrist strength, they're still able to lift the inch, even though their numbers are pretty close to like the inch dumbbell weight and the rolling handle. So it depends on your strength, but generally you do have to pull more on a rolling handle in weight than the inch dumbbell by a good amount, like maybe like 25 to 30 pounds. I guess it depends on the handle,
Oh, nice.
actually. So I forget
Here,
how much they vary sometimes.
here in South America, since we don't have like much equipment yet, we have a lot of like theories of, if I do this, maybe I can lift like Blobzilla, or if I do that, I could lift the inch. Who knows?
Yeah, it's
So
hard
we
to
always
tell
have like
until you actually have it in front of you.
that's what I say as well. Like, do you think that you could close this or lift that? I don't know. I have to be like in front and try it. That's
Yeah,
my belief.
that's true.
Yes. And the last question from Tiziano. Did you ever think to have the grippers after your first training goal? Like, I want to go for the number 4, something like that.
Well, the number 3 was my first, I guess, goal. I guess that was my only goal up until like 9 months after I started.
So it took you like 9 months to close the 3?
So that's to branch off into the other stuff. I closed the 3 in about 6 months, but a Match Monster set, so it wasn't a credit card. I wanted the certification was the
Like
goal.
the level 0, right?
What was that?
The Match Monster 0 certification, right?
Yeah. I guess that too. Yeah, I guess that was the
Okay.
first one. I'm sorry about that feedback. I'm not sure what that's from.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Well, I wanted to ask you about some grip fits. I have seen that those are like a big focus of yourself lately. So, these days, which is your favorite grip fit, the one you enjoy the most?
Oh man, that's
Take
hard.
your
You
time.
know,
Take your time.
like there's so many different combos and goals I've done, but I think the one that I really like the most, and it's just a personal one because it's really not like the craziest one in most people's eyes, but the blob lifts and curls I do by the face because I worked so hard to just get a lift on the next gen. Like for years, I cut my skin. I was doing negatives. I ended up breaking the finger on my other thing, like trying not to make a noise with it falling. I did went through all this stuff to finally lift it, and like then took it so much farther than I could have ever imagined. So I guess those kinds of things I like just because I know how hard I worked and how I thought it was physically impossible, and like I would never be able to do it. So.
Awesome, man. Next, do you have like any grip sport hero, someone you look up to, like a grip sport idol?
I don't I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I don't like. It's when I first came to see the one guy that really like got me like stoked about grip was watching old Paul Knight videos. I don't know if you know Paul Knight, the gripper guy. Like he was.
Or I have seen his YouTube videos like 2012, closing
Yeah,
like big groupers, like starting from the number two, like, and
yeah,
that's,
the gripper medley.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I just
it's a
that really
classic.
just that really inspired me to like get in and get into the grip stuff and like I I guess, yeah, I guess it'd have to be him. I met him once. I actually did feel a little starstruck because, like, it's like I would never been into this stuff. I hadn't stumbled upon some of his stuff.
Nice. Also, uh, if you had to host like a grip contest, but I know that you hosted King Kong this year. I mean, last year. But if you had to host like the Team Butler Classic, which disciplines would you include? You
Oh
can
man,
include a medley if you want, but tell
a
me,
med-
how
I
would
would,
it be?
I would definitely like a medley. That would be cool. Um, I guess phew, that's hard. Definitely I have to pick Little Big Horn. You know, I have to do that. Uh, I guess um, this is tough. I guess I still like grippers. I would do 20 millimeter block set grippers. Um,
Okay.
trying to think of like I want a pinch event, but I'm trying to think of one that I don't hate a lot because I'm not a big fan. I guess the Saxon bar really isn't that bad. It doesn't cut your skin,
Yes.
and for thick bar, uh, it's tough. I guess I like the 2 3/8 Napalm's Nightmare. I like that thick bar.
Nice. And if you had to make like a medley, I think I saw a video of you doing a inch dumbbell medley back in the day, like a couple of years ago.
Oh
Would
yeah,
you like to have
living
something like that?
legends.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to have something like that. I'd have a bunch of blobs and inches. I had, you know, I had anvils too, so they would be part of the medley. I have scale weights. I have a bunch of random toys I've accumulated over the years because I'm an addict. So it would be a lot of
Yeah.
fun. There'd be a lot of weird items that a lot of people maybe haven't seen.
Yes, we want to go like into your grip collection later because that's a huge topic. Um, Actually, I wanted to ask you. This is going to be like a tricky one. If you had to pick one grip tool, which would be like your favorite? If you had to pick one.
Just one. I want to say an inch dumbbell, but then there'd come the day where like I was just too fried to even pick it up, and that's the only thing I had, so I wouldn't be able to pick up anything. So that'd be really sad. So maybe I'd have to go with a 50-pound blob because that I could lift any day, no matter what.
Really nice. Blobs. Blobs are really really fun thing. Fun and they have their technique.
Yeah,
I always watch Jet Johnson videos, and he I think he has like a training videos about just how to lift the blob and all the technique associated. Like it's not like it has his difficulty,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's not so simple that most people would think. I'm still learning things like so every now and then I'll find just like 1 millimeter difference in my hand placement or the angle of my fingers where I'm a little bit stronger. So that's something I feel like that's really important. Like always try to find a better grab on things. Like I feel like you can always make some progress. Even years later, 6 years later, I'm learning new things about something I've been training with for all these years. So
Yeah, for sure. You can when you meet new gripsters or new people, you can learn from them for sure. Especially when I think that there are many guys that have been into grip game like from the 90s or early 2000s. So they have been like for many years making mistakes or having even injuries.
yeah,
Right?
that's a big
Injuries.
one.
Yeah. Uh, about your grip collection, Tim,
Okay.
which of your grip tools was the hardest to obtain, the hardest to get? I mean, not necessarily like expensive, but something unique or rare.
Um, I think I guess my anvils really, but they're not. Where I'm from, they're kind of easy to find, but they're not easy to find affordable. So I spent years and years checking like the local posts for something in a weight range that I wanted because I didn't want one that was like too small. And then in the price range that I wanted, and it took me years to. I think my 140-pound anvil is definitely one of my favorite items that I have because it's just a good anvil is a good price, and I got lucky.
For example, on 140-pound anvil, how much is it? Like if you want to go to Facebook Marketplace?
A lot of times, like you'll be lucky to find one for under 500 for 140. Like a lot of times, it'll be even more. I found I
500.
found one for I found mine for 200. So
That's pretty
oh,
good.
yeah, it's still expensive, but compared to everything else, I was like, I got to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, but for example, here in Chile, there are really few anvils. They are really hard to get, and I have seen some like they are selling like $800. Like it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy,
Yeah, it's just not worth
they
it.
are really heavy. Here they are really heavy, like 100 kilogram, 220 pounds anvils. So it's like, yeah, I can afford one maybe, but I won't be able to lift it
Yeah,
yet. It's
yeah,
crazy.
that's true.
I actually I have seen a video of you recently lifting like a really big ass anvil. It was huge at Jet Johnson's gym. I
Oh yeah,
remember.
yeah. It's 91 kilos.
Wow.
It's a big the horn is really wide on that one. I always forget because I tried it. I tried it a couple years ago and I forgot how big the horn was. Like, oh man, but
It's like two times the little big horn, right?
yeah,
The little big horn is like this, and the horn was like
yeah.
this.
I think I said it was 3.5 inches in diameter. So whatever that is.
It was giant, but you did it. Big respect.
Thank you.
Then this is a little like a finance question. We spoke about it like 2 days ago. If you had to put like a price for your whole grip collection, did you think about an estimate of like dollars? This question was from my friend from Colombia, Alejandro. If you're there,
Mhm.
¿cómo estás, Alejandro? What do you think, Tim?
So, do you think like how much it's worth now, or how much I paid over the years?
No, how much is it worth it like today?
Today, mm, I'd say probably between like I don't know, maybe between like 19,000, something like that. It's really hard to say. Like I know like I have a lot of Warren Tedding grippers, which I got back when they were still being made by the guy for really cheap. So I have a lot of those that are now worth so much more. A lot of blobs I got back in the day for cheaper that have gone up a lot in price. So it's yeah, I'd say somewhere around there.
Nice. And are there some items from your collection that you will never sell?
Yeah, there's a lot of them I'll never sell. I guess my inch dumbbells, at least the 190 and the two 174s, I wouldn't sell. My 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 next gen and Fat Man half hundred blobs, I wouldn't sell. I wouldn't sell any of my Teddings, any of my grippers that have like a rare rating that I like. I have a 160 number three that I wouldn't sell. Like, yeah, there's quite a few.
Yes, I wouldn't say I have one setting like a grandmaster.
Mhm.
I will not tell that either. And I have a number three, really light, 139
Wow,
pounds.
139.
I would never sell it. It was
That's a
like in
gem.
March. It was produced, I mean, or rated in March last year. And it was like, I saw it and it was like, boom, I got it to myself. I
I'd
think
be
I would
excited if I saw
never,
that.
yeah, I would never sell it. Really, really rare rating.
Yeah, I've never
Hey,
seen one in the 130s.
we have another question from Mustard Badger.
Hmm.
He says, if you have two top tips for pinching better,
Oh
what
man.
will they be?
I feel like I'm not the best pincher. I'm better at the wider stuff. But I guess really first getting good at chalking, because chalking is an art in itself, and getting a better texture on there can really help you a lot with especially friction-based lifts like pinching. And not only that, just also just really experimenting with your hand angles, like how much of your thumb is on or off, how much your fingers are. Like I find like I can, if I just really mess around with it, I can come to make some little breakthroughs and get like a few pounds of gains and just tweaking my setup a little bit. Uh,
That's really nice. And if we are talking about Gripsport in particular, not necessarily like improving your hand strength, because maybe some people from jiu-jitsu or from strongman would love to have a better grip. But if someone wants to get better at Gripsport, and we're talking about a newbie, which would be like your advice for beginners in Gripsport, someone who wants to compete in King Kong, close big grippers?
um, I guess one day would be don't be afraid to like reach out to some other people. I had a lot of help when I started, so like I find like I want to pay it forward to people coming into it. Be respectful, of course. Don't like ask a million questions all the time and like annoy people, but um, and then also just how important it is not to overtrain and to do like active recovery, like the rubber bands, work your extensors to prevent tendonitis, because so many beginners, including myself, you get so excited and you're making a little progress and you become addicted, and then you develop tendonitis and you're like put back for a few months or whatever. Um, but yeah, I guess those two things.
You just touched a really interesting topic: injuries. Which which have been your grip sport related injuries?
Oh man, so many things. I've never really gotten them diagnosed, but like I've like had multiple pops in this tendon here and here. I've had one here. Um, that was doing something stupid with an dumbbell. Then just in my wrists, I've been pretty messed up over the years.
And has it been like with some particular movements or
Um,
implements?
well, the tendon tears here are were from some from vertical lifts because a lot of people you're stronger when you have a more like underhand supinated grip, but that puts your bicep in a more compromising position. And when you're lifting higher weight loads, like I was on Little Bighorn, it's just it was causing tears. So I switched my grip to a more neutral or pronated.
Oh, I understand.
Hmm.
Yeah. And during the years, have you done like certain changes, or did you take any strategies to avoid injuries?
Um, yeah, don't try stupid things. That's number one. I was always tempted. I've become a little more responsible in my older age. But like don't like really crazy like flashy feats sometimes just aren't worth it. Um, and I guess also just making sure not to grab things too underhand because that's really in the grip sport. Most of the injuries are people tearing the things in here, you know. So I feel like yeah, just not grabbing things too underhand. I'm trying to think of other common grip injuries and what causes them. Like single finger lifts. You don't want to do unless you're like an experienced climber. You've been doing it for years. Like a lot of people on like tips tester, even the grab ball. Like people have messed up their pulleys and their fingers. So and I stopped doing a lot of one finger stuff after hearing about that because I was doing the middle. Oh, I didn't mean to flip you off, but the middle finger one arm pull up, and then I realized how risky that was.
Yes, I have seen really like experienced people into grip doing one finger lifts, but they always say the same. Jet Johnson said, "Never do one finger lifts. It's like calling the disaster to your life."
Yeah, like especially if you're like a stronger guy, you're lifting heavier weights. You're those little ligaments, since they're not used the tendons, they're not used to that kind of strain. So like if you're not an experienced climber, even if you're used to if you bench like 500 pounds, but you're not used to that kind of strain there, so you could still mess yourself up really bad.
Yeah, just like that. And when you start your grip training, do you do any kind of specific warm up for your hands?
Um, not not really. I do all my grip workouts during my strength training workouts. So in between my working sets, like let's say I'm doing a bench, in between my bench sets, that's when I do my grip stuff. So but I feel like that helps me kind of warm up. But other than that, for warming up for grip, I don't do anything specific other than just starting light and just let reps and kind of like hold, just get the blood pumping, get things feeling warmer. I shake out my hands. I don't know if that even does anything, but I do this all the time when I'm warming up. You know.
So, in example, any of your routines will start with like a big lift, like squat or bench press?
Do they start with big lifts?
Yes. Like, do you do something like squat or deadlift before the rolling handle or before the pinch?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, I find my some of my best grip workouts have been on squat days. I find my CNS is most fired up when I'm doing squats, and by the time I'm at like in between like the third or fourth set, like I just usually my grip's just feeling really on point, and I take big rest periods between my working sets. I feel like for me to get the most out of my like workouts, like I want to put in the most work, I need a little more rest. So I'll rest like 7 to 10 minutes, and that 7 to 10 minutes is enough time for me to get like the grip sets in.
Really good. Here I have a comment from a friend from Chile, Salvador. He says his brachyradials is insane. Big arms, man. Big arms.
This weird thing here.
Yeah, really huge.
I was
And rental
born
shoes.
with that actually.
I didn't get you. What?
I said I was born with this thing actually. I think I just had this in there. I don't know.
Like big arms. Yeah, it runs in your family. Do you have any like have you made your father try grip? Is he strong as you?
I mean, he worked out a lot back in the day. He was really strong. He's still strong, I'm sure, but I've been trying to get him into it, and he's been talking about how he wants to start getting into it for a couple of years now, but we haven't started. But he has lifted the my 135-pound baby inch dumbbell, so he's definitely got some strength, and his hands are like a lot bigger and fatter. They're really thick. So he'd be probably good at something. That's actually how I got into grip in the beginning, the grippers. I've researched how to get thicker hands because his were so much bigger than my little skinny boy hands. So, and that's how all this happened.
It actually happens with like elder people. I mean, my dad, I think his hand is the same size as mine, but it's a lot thicker. It's like maybe when we reach like the 50s or 60s, we're going to be really strong and this big hands.
I hope so. I have heard that too, so I haven't given up hope.
Hey, there's another question from another notorious Chilean gripster. You must have been chatting with him sometime. Bruno 21 SDPO. Bruno 21.
Hello, Bruno. What's up, Bruno?
Yeah, Bruno asked you, how do you warm up before competing? I can answer that one, but this is your interview, my friend.
Yeah, I pretty much I'll do like depending on where I'm at. If there's a squat rack, I'll do squats. If there's not, I'll do like goblet squats and then like some push-ups maybe. But did I do something really funny last time? Now I'm thinking there's something I'm not thinking of.
Because I remember skillet hands, I was doing my squats, and you guys were like, "Yeah, we are going to start," and you just started. That was it. Like,
I mean, I did a few squats. Maybe you didn't see me do the squats. I did a couple.
Maybe it was like in the lake outside the Alex garage. Or maybe I was too nervous. Oh, my first competition. I don't know. Another question from my friend Salvador from Chile. Dude, I don't understand, but it's like I do deadlift before my pinch lift and improve it. Actually, I don't understand the question, but he recently got like a 50-millimeter block, and he's doing like 34 kilos. It's really good for a starting.
That is good for a starter.
He's a really big guy. He's really tall. I think you said you were like 192,
92?
right?
Yeah, about 192.
He is like 194.
Oh wow!
Really tall.
Yeah.
But he is like a little heavier than you and me. He's like more than 100 kilos. I don't know the number, but he's really big. He has a great future in Gripsport, I think, and he's really motivated.
I'm glad he's fired up about the grip stuff. That's awesome.
Of course, he does a lot of stuff. I think he comes from calisthenics. He was like maybe the heaviest calisthenics guy in Chile these days. He's saying it in Spanish. He says he does the deadlift before the pinch, and it gets better. He says it helps him. Maybe, what do you think? Have you done that, like deadlift before take bar or before pinch? Do you perform well when doing that?
Yeah, yeah, like I usually like I'll do my I guess my warm up deadlifts before I pinch, and then it's not until I guess it's not. I'll do like the heavy set, and then if I have back downs, that's when I'll do my pinching in between the less intense deadlift sets. Because like the really heavy ones, if it's like a max effort or like I feel like I'm gonna die afterwards, then maybe I won't do the pinch right afterwards. But
I
But
understand.
I feel like it definitely if you're doing anything beforehand, you're still warming up your body a bit and getting used to like lifting weight. So I'm sure that helps that compared to just doing it cold.
And in example, if you do like your max double overhand deadlift, uh, may it like interfere with your, if you want to do like your PR on the double overhand, and then you want to do like a PR on your rolling handle, do you think it interferes or not necessarily?
Um, it's a weird one. I don't think those two specifically interfere too much because I mean, it's weird. I had a weird week this last week. I almost locked out 565 on a double overhand, which is the most I've ever done. But I haven't been able to budge the inch dumbbell this whole week, which is really weird. So like I'm not. I feel like they're not too related to each other. Where uh, because I feel that the double overhand deadlift doesn't really tax the thumb like the inch does.
Okay.
So I don't. Yeah. I have experimented. Like I've had days where I did like I do a set of three with 515 and then go to the inch dumbbell lifts right after and just to try and like make it more interesting. But I didn't really notice much of a difference.
Okay. And there's kind of a belief that you can't mix thick bar lifts and grippers like in the same workout, or to keep them away from each other to progress. What do you think about that?
That's 100% true. Like if you are going to do them in the same workout, you got to do the grippers first. Otherwise, I find my crush just like gets cut off like 20-25% after a decent thick bar workout. So I also and that's why I also have to I space them out a good amount. Like I need preferably at least like 48 hours, or not preferably 36 hours at least, or not 30. I'm doing my math. 3 days, preferably 3 days. That's 72 hours. Preferably 3 days, but 2 days maybe I can get away with it, but I'll still maybe not feel full strength with the grippers. Um, and I guess it really comes down to also what you're focusing more on. Like if your goals are to insert a specific gripper, then you could do a little less thick bar volume and more grippers. But if your goals are to lift the inch dumbbell, then you do less grippers and more thick bar.
I understand. I think I've heard the same, like, it could be called like a law to put the grippers first, always. Like,
Mm-hmm.
grippers are really sensitive to if you put something before them. And I think
Yeah.
that doesn't happen with the other disciplines. For example, if you are going to do thick bar and pinching in the same routine, I think it's the same to put one or the other first. They're not going to be affected. What do you think?
I I think they might be a little bit affected, but nowhere near as much as the others. The only thing I could think of is like thick bar is, in my opinion, by far like the most taxing thing. So I would always want to have the pinch before thick bar because the thick bar you might be taxing your thumb a bit, which I feel like would probably affect your pinch to some degree, but definitely not like the grippers. That's a whole other story.
Yeah, I understand. And here in South America, there is really few people that has purchased or bought grip tools. So, at least from the United States, which are your favorite sites for buying grip tools?
Um, right now, I would have to say Arm Assassins, like hands down, like they have. great prices, good quality equipment, like quick shipping. I haven't had any complaints about those. I'm trying to think of other ones like that I still buy from these days. Like I used to buy from FPBC, but they're not as active these days. Um, yeah, I guess the one that I would highly suggest would be the Arm Assassins.
Have you bought equipment from Europe, for example?
Um, I I bought I bought I have a couple of David Horn stuff. I have a gold bar, which is like a slanted pinch kind of thing. I think I got something else. It's so hard, you know. Sometimes you get something anticipating you're going to use it a lot, and then you forget about it.
Yeah, it actually happens. In fact, Jed always says in his videos like you don't need like every product that it's on the market. You need like the basic stuff, and the rest is. It is more important to get strong than have a big collection. By
Exactly.
the way, having a big collection is really fun, but but I
It's not
mean,
necessary.
it's not necessary. It's like you can like survive with flask, a good rolling handle, and any vertical bar. I
Yeah,
mean, maybe a little bit horn or any jug from FBBC,
exactly.
maybe, but
And maybe a sledgehammer for like levering for the wrists. That's
that's
all
it.
you really need, like the basics.
Yes. Um, I saw that rental shoes made a question. Hello. I don't know the name of rental shoes, so I just say his user. I think this one is a funny one. Does playing bass strengthen your thumb or fingers at all to the point where you feel it has a decent effect on your grip?
I don't think so. No. And sometimes I'll like actually, but I do feel like sometimes when I'm playing after I work out, like I feel like the movement is almost like active recovery. It's might all be in my head, but I don't know. But sometimes though, it's painful to play because I'm just so sore from grip training. But I don't think it's helped my grip at all.
I feel the same way about guitar. It's like these little tendons when you move the hand after a workout, after grippers. In example, it's like, oh, I am really tired. If I want to play like faster, I am
Yeah,
tired to play the
yeah.
instrument.
I can't play as fast either. Like sometimes I'll try to play a part that's a little fast. I just can't keep up. I'm like, oh, I'm too zapped from the grip training.
Yeah, actually, some friends that are into piano, they are players. They tell me, "Oh, you do a lot of grip stuff. Which grip tool would you recommend me to be better at piano?" And I always say, like, you have to play more piano
Yeah,
to get faster and
exactly,
better. Not
exactly.
Gripsport. Gripsport is really specific to improve in the sport,
The only
and of course, it gives you a lot of carry over to some other disciplines.
Yeah, and with I guess one more thing about the guitar or whatever. The only thing I can see it helping with grip is helping the dexterity of the left hand because you're stretching. So maybe you could get
Yeah.
like for that's the only thing I can see it really helping. But that was just a random thought.
I think that now that we are speaking about it, maybe it's good for bendings, like have a strong wrist and strong like crimping position. I don't know,
For
but I
bending
think
the
my bendings are like stronger since I started doing some grip sport.
That's
So
true.
maybe
I do bend bass strings, so that's probably pretty tough. Maybe I just don't realize.
yes. We have like 25 seconds left, so I think the live stream will stop for a few seconds.
Hmm.
Let me call you back, and we can do like the rest of the interview. So
All right,
we're not done yet. We're not done yet. 10 seconds.
stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned with my